bring in, because of time,
Thank
I want to quickly bring in Mr. Obiagwu into the conversation. I mean, when you look at the country today, Prince Aliyu speaks differently on the issues around merit. He speaks on the issue of education and then welfare in terms of economy for Nigerians, and that addresses for him all of the, will I call it, just maybe the issues around marginalization that people talk about. But he also said, our diversity is a strength, which is true. But some people will say, look, when you weaponize a strength as politicians have done, it tends to become a weakness. For you, how should we address, do you agree with the points that he has made? And how do we address again that issue of diversity? When you check social media today, it is a big issue. Every day, young people, and again, we have to call a spade a spade. Yorubas and Igbos are at their neck every day, each other's neck every day on social media. Every other smaller tribe caught in between. How should we, go forward in that area?
Yes, thank you very much. I don't think economic growth, political stability, peace and security, should be isolated, and you focus on one and not the other. Otherwise, if you are economically developed and there's insecurity, then you're underdeveloped. So all these are political inclusion, inclusiveness is part of development. And one of the areas, let me just be practical, one of the areas we need to look at is the issue of residency and inclusion. People live in some parts of the country for years, all their life, yet they don't identify with that place. Dr. Ali talked about the United States of America. If you live in a state and pay your tax there, that's where you're a citizen of. So once we continue to define who we are by indigenship, and you ask state of origin, and state of origin doesn't mean where it is right, where you pay your taxes, where you do your business. State of origin is where your grandfather comes from. Maybe you not even know that. So once you continue to emphasize on indigenship over residency and citizenship, we continue to have problems. Even if Nigeria GDP rises to 1 trillion and there is no sense of citizenship, there will continue to be problems. We'll continue to have political problems. Now, talking about merit, if people are given offices because of where they come from, which state are you from? Where local government are you from? Which place? Then where do you get merit? It is no longer merit. The political offices are never based on merit in this country, because everything is based on tribal affiliations. Where are you from? Where are you not from? So I think we need to address those political issues because they're very, very important. And that's
Mr. Obiagwu, because you mentioned the issue of appointments, has the federal character, idea or principle served its purpose?
No, it has not. In fact, the federal character, that was the purpose of federal character provision, so that one part of the country does not dominate the entire country. The federal character has only been applied in maybe admission into schools. If you go to federal schools, maybe admission to secondary school or JAMB. But in terms of political offices, it has not, because it is not reflective, it is not respected. The only thing they do is, each state will have a minister. But then what about the key offices? So when people, and that is the whole thing about politicians using tribes and religion. So when a section of the country is in office, you say, it's our turn. So you flood the place with people from your tribe. I think that creates identity crisis. And any society that loses its identity, loses its beingness. And a lot of young people, like you mentioned, simply identify themselves from where they come from. And that creates sectionalism. That creates problem for the economy, for the country and for development. And I think we should address that. The country should address that. The National Assembly should address that through constitutional amendment. People should be identified by where they reside. And they should give out the benefit of where they reside, not where they come from, where their grandfathers come from.